It's now 5:30. I now call a special meeting Thursday, January the 17th, 2019 to order. Roll call start with Councilwoman Ryder.
Here. Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister. Mayor White.
Yes. We'll go on to discussion items. Discussion number one, discussion consideration possible action regarding ordinance number 9177, ordinance of the City of El Reno amending the employee retirement systems, adding a defined contribution plan for the city manager for the City of El Reno, Oklahoma, providing retirement benefits for eligible employees for the City of El Reno, Oklahoma, pertaining to the defined employees providing for repealer and severability. Basically, Roger, on the contract, Mr. Frazier, that we've hired, used a different deal than ICAMA. He wanted to use the one he's currently in. We don't have a problem with that. Matter of fact, I think it's a small, very small cost savings for the city, but it's still no cost savings, but it's his choice, and we want to be able to allow him to do that.
That's right.
Got a motion for approval?
Motion for
Motion for Robinson, second by Ryder, would you say, Tracy?
Yeah.
Motion and second, roll call vote, start with Baldwin.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister. Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder. Yes. Mayor White.
Yes. Motion carries. Going to number two, discussion consideration possible action and adopt ordinance number 9176, ordinance amending chapter 361, the code of the City of El Reno, Oklahoma, requiring a conditional use permit for medical facilities within the city limits and declare an emergency. Basically why we did this is because through the proposals, I thought of a couple of things to basically the helipad and some other things that butt up against residential areas. We want to make sure they come back and get a conditional use permit so we can check the proper in and out lights and some other things. What's this one?
Well, as written, it is in the commercial districts.
It's already
be,
yeah, it's
CUP
already restricted in some, and it's already not allowed in some others, and it is in the others. So this just basically allows it to be in those areas with conditions, so we can get a better handle of what's going on.
And as far as hospitals go, you could also include CUP requirement within the industrial districts, if you so choose.
Absolutely.
Motion to approve.
I got a motion. Second.
Would that also include the industrial?
It would.
Commercial and industrial.
Mhm. I got a motion and a second, and note at 5:22, just barely late, Vice Mayor Cronister shows up.
5:32.
That's the same thing.
Which item are we on?
Two.
Adjournment.
Excellent. See you later.
2.
Good.
Roll call start with the admin.
Yes. Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes. Motion carries. We move on to number.
Motion to declare emergency.
Yeah.
Yeah, motion. Now we got a motion to declare emergency for Robinson, second by Cronister. Is that right, JT?
Yep.
Roll call start with Cronister.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder. Yes. Mayor White.
Yes, we did that emergency, now it's in place. We don't have to wait the normal 60 days. All right, we'll move on to number 3, 30 days. Review, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding proposals received for ambulance service in the City of El Reno and authorize chairman / mayor to sign letter of intent. Okay? Basically, Kent, where are you at? Where's Duff at? Okay?
Right in the back.
I got our fire chief, Kent Legali, and our assistant fire chief, Jason Duff. We appreciate you guys. They've worked real hard on this. They worked their tail off, really, to be honest with you. Thank goodness you're standing in the back, Duff, because you wouldn't be able to see Kent.
I know. Hey, I played this.
Stand up, Kent. The main thing is that they've worked their tail off trying to get this thing done. We received 4 proposals, is what we
Correct.
did. We went out for RFPs on our proposals. We received 4 of those proposals. I think, Mr. Duff, you've sent this out to all the council members.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
They kind of gave you broke down. They broke it down to basically the needs and what would fit inside our community. Now the 4, I think it was narrowed down to 2. Is that correct?
Right. We put some criteria and benchmarks, if you will, for lack of a better term, in the RFP. So we went through the 4 of them to see which ones met or exceeded those requirements in there. And 2 of them met all of them and exceeded them. One of them exceeded them in many different areas. That's the comparison that you see in front.
And basically, when we met the criteria at that point in time, then we started looking at the other ones as far as the price wise and everything else based on proposal.
Absolutely.
So as we received them back, the one that stood out the best out of the RFPs, the proposals that we received was Patford at that point in time. And the reason why is because they, in their proposal, they agreed to have the third ambulance on staff. So currently right now, we required Mercy, who has done an excellent job for us. They've taken our standard where they need to be, so we really appreciate all the work they've done. They've done a great job with working with us, and we've always had great relations with you guys. Appreciate you coming out too. But they, Patford took the level of service to the next level with being 3 ambulances, and then in the same proposal and discussion, as we've had further to understand the proposal, they also wanted to put a component in there with a fixed wing aircraft and another ambulance out there at the airport.
That is correct.
So they're not counting that in that deal. And I think the main thing is that in our discussions also, we were concerned with our sister cities like we discussed. I told you I contacted the mayor of Calumet. I've contacted the city manager and the fire chief of Union City. I think Otto here, you're here, Otto, and also contacted Okarchi, notified them. So I think we want to make sure we're all on the same page because it's important that those cities, we're all together, and I think everybody wants to be on the same page, and you've had those same discussions.
Yes, as well as the county.
And I think
They're involved in the
And
discussion.
Bridges have been involved in that.
John Bridges from the county.
So
Yes.
we've been trying to kind of piece this together. So that's kind of where we come up with. And the other thing on the proposal, they were $25,000 less than the subsidies that we were paying currently right now. We're paying right now currently $250,000 subsidies. They came in at $225,000 subsidies. The main thing that we wanted to ensure, and Duff and Assistant Fire Chief Duff and the Chief Legali had done is they checked everything out. You might give me a brief rundown, Jason. What is the Patford? They've been around since.
Yeah, Patford's been around since they've been over business over 50 years. They're in 4 different states. They serve 12 communities in Oklahoma, over 12 communities actually. They've been here since '05, and in that time they've become number 1 in sense of coverage area and number 2 in Oklahoma in sense of employment and ambulance units. So they've been here a while.
And then I think the main thing is that we are concerned along with them, and we'll get into the other side of this on the hospital side. The main thing is that they are, because of the other ambulance service, they're absolutely interested. They want to hire the people if they want to be here. I think our concern, I want to make sure, and I'm speaking for the council, I know. Our concern as a council, as a community, our main concern is the community, is we get the coverage for the community and the service for the community, and that will all reflect in the contracts that we draw up that you all will finalize. I'm asking you today to get the letter of intent so we can start that process. But that's the main concern. And the next concern, after the community and the level of service, how to get that, would be the current employees that are here in our city. So we want to make sure that they absolutely have an opportunity to come there, and that was absolutely relayed to us that is your wish to do that, to work that process in order to make that possible. Is that correct, gentlemen and ladies? So I think that was another concern. Is that right, gentlemen?
That is absolutely right. And another part of the discussion was, for lack of a better term, partnership with whomever our new healthcare provider is.
And I think that's what we're asking here tonight is once we make a decision to go ahead and go forward with the letter of intent, it gives us the ability to do some due diligence on everybody's side. We want to make sure they partner up with our partner with the medical facility on that side, because we're going to create a partnership and going to ask the citizens to participate in that. We want to make sure that at that point in time that our contract reflects the contract that we're going to finalize with the final healthcare provider that we choose. Does that make sense? So I think the components are all in place to do that, but discussion right now is Patford. They came in with as better service than what we have, the coverage we have. And I say better service, they're all under standards based on Oklahoma. I mean, they have to go under the same rules and regulations. They have to staff the truck the same way. They have to do everything else. So we feel like our experience with Mercy, which was a wonderful experience, I want to say that again, with their emergency service. Has been a wonderful experience. We know that what to expect, and from what research we've done and what we've looked at, we don't expect any less and don't see any surprises.
That is correct.
Did I sum that up right?
You summed that up very well.
At this point in time, I think I'm done talking on the ambulance side. Is there any questions? All right, thank you all.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to let the chairman/mayor go into an agreement with Padford, and of course I'm including Mr. Reinhardt and our legal counsel
I'll make that
staff,
motion.
that we do that and do a letter of intent?
I'll make the motion. Second.
I have a motion to authorize the chairman/mayor with city staff and attorneys to go into contract negotiations and sign a letter of intent with Padford Medical Services. Motion by Ballhorn, second by Cronister. Roll call start with Vice Mayor Cronister.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn.
Yep.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilman Ryder. Yes. Mayor White.
Yes, motion carries 5-0. We'll move on to item 4. Review, discussion, consider possible action regarding proposals for healthcare services in the city of El Reno, and authorize chairman/Mayor White to sign letter of intent at the time. Once again, now I want to turn to my partners, I guess you'd say. We worked, I do want to say Kent and Duff, you all did, and Brad, I keep on cutting you out, you're involved in it too. But you all done a very good job. Appreciate the hard work you all did on the ambulance side. We kind of tackled the hospital side, and JT helped me with some of the finance along with Marcia. Appreciate all the help we were trying to kind of come up and make sure. We received 3 proposals on the hospital, the healthcare side. In our proposal, we asked for, the main thing was the side note of the ambulance service, I think. The second one was we wanted to have an emergency room. And then the other one was the doctor's office, what the plan was to bring doctors to our community. And that was important to us. In those 3 things, the premise and the actual spirit was all directed towards those 3 things of service directed to provide us for the city of El Reno. So in getting that, we received 3 proposals. We received 1 proposal from Mercy Health Center, and we received 1 from Healthcare One, Urgent Care and Family Practice, and we received 1 from SSM, which is you all know as St. Anthony's. Out of those 3 that we received, only 1 basically provided the services that we were asked for, and that was to have provide emergency room service. They're very complicated. Don't forget, we went out to bids, we went out for proposals, then we received these. So during these, we had to kind of get some clarification of how they would work. And during the proposal that you have, there's been a little bit of add-on because there was some understanding of how it would work, and there's still a lot of details to work out on this. The proposal basically was to have a new facility. Healthcare One, I'll start with them, basically would extend their current urgent care and convert that over to a 24-hour urgent care at that point in time. And they asked to get a subsidy of the first year of $15,000 per month, for $15,000 for the first year. And then after that, the second year would be $12,000 per year to continue that service. And that service listed out some different PAs and some different staffing models that they had. And then the third and final year, they would have gone down to $10,000 a month just for the urgent care side. And then they wanted us to give the land out at 22nd Street, and they would build the facility and they would own the facility. So that was kind of and really money-wise, it was a little bit better than Mercy, except in result Mercy, we own that, and I'll get to that in a minute. So I do want to say this. Healthcare One, the main component of that is Brad. He's been a big part of this community, and he's done a great job. He's stepped up, and he cares about this community, and I really appreciate him even putting this together. It took a lot of time for him to do this together, to put this together, to think the process through. So I really appreciate his commitment to our community. I think he's done a very good job with that, and we don't want to take anything away from him at all, because he has done an excellent job of trying to care for his patients here in El Reno, Oklahoma. Move on to Mercy. Mercy basically was their proposal was to charge us $350,000 per year to continue service currently at our hospital until the hospital was built, except they said they could build the hospital, it would be operational in around August, September. Huh? I'm sorry, yeah, urgent care, 24-hour urgent care, not to the level we have, but they could build that new facility in August or September. We didn't get into that, but I don't, that'd be pretty hard to do. I don't think you can build a building that quick, but anyway. So we had a lot of questions with that. And then also, it was just an urgent care at that point in time. It wasn't to the level that we wanted to basically consider a full service emergency room, which I've been hearing back from the community that we have to have. So at that point in time, they wanted to enter into a lease agreement after they got a new facility built, the urgent care facility built on our land that we would give them out in the center island of the 27th location. Then we would do a long-term lease with them for 30 years for $1. And at the end of the 30 years, we would receive the building. All the upfront costs would be on them, and then we would receive that. At the end result, the citizens already would own a 30-year-old facility that's an urgent care. So that's where Mercy was. Did I miss anything, Matt? Roger? Okay. So then we got to St. Anthony's. St. Anthony's basically wanted us to participate. They would take all the operations up front and run a full, basically what we have right now, with some add-on services to do that. And they would absolutely do help us with the transition of May 5th, when they, just like Mercy did, continue the emergency. They would not do the hospital, but continue emergency at that point in time. There's a little caveat to that. Basically, their assessment, there might have to be a bunch of infrastructure in order for them to do that, almost $2 million worth of infrastructure, if the state won't allow us to do that. So we have to work through two issues. We have to work with the state, which Mercy had an agreement with them to the end of this year, but they would have to go back and ask them for more because they wouldn't have the facility built. So we're gonna have to go back and ask for an extension either way, but for another basically 12 months is what we're hoping for them. And that would be for two things: A, from the state in order to get the health department to sign off on it, and then B would be the reimbursement they have to do because of the Medicaid, Medicare. That would be through the federal side, and they have to work through that process too. So we're gonna have to work through those challenges. That's gonna be a challenge on everybody's plate anyway. So that's still, the citizens need to know that we're trying to work that issue out. And I can't imagine, and you might quote me on this, Ray, I can't imagine those politicians, because we're all public servants, I can't imagine those politicians wanting to close our emergency care down with a plan if we come up with one within 24 months. And it has to have some timelines on this point in time, and St. Anthony's would have that we don't have currently with Mercy. So St. Anthony's basically would operate that deal, and in that time frame, they would operate on their cost. There is some things in there that we're both kind of we're discussing back and forth on who's going to take care of the pay patients. I think we can work through that process. If you give us a little more time, we can get a better handle on that, because they haven't been a service provider. I think it's going to be to our benefit in order to do that. To where they can maintain that emergency room on their dime until we get some facility built. And they want to do that quickly. They think that they can get that done from anywhere from 18 months to maximum of 24 months. And we want to put that timeline on there for us, and they want to put that timeline on there for them also, because we want to get out of that facility and get into a new current facility. The facility that they are proposing would not be located on our land. It'd be another location that they have deemed. It's going to be a location based on the services that their models have provided for them. In the proposal, they wanted us to reimburse them up to $700,000. In my discussion with the contractor, who's an El Reno graduate and an alumni, And a good friend, Darren Miller with Miller Architects, they build their facilities. It would almost be better if the city could do that. And so we could almost own the facility at that price if we're paying, and we could own that for the citizens at that short time frame. We could hand that over 10 years. So basically, their bid would be for us, or not bid, their proposal would be for us to build the facility, and then they would do a triple net lease, and then they would own the facility, and then we're gonna have to try to negotiate if we come back in 10 or 15 years to renegotiate that, and we're kind of trying to work with that system. But the citizens of El Reno would own that facility. They would own a new healthcare facility, and that healthcare facility would include a emergency room, which we feel like we need. So, in saying all that, I think that we have to move forward at this point in time if we want to go forward with Mercy, or with St. Anthony's healthcare system, SSM. Now, I do want to throw some disclaimers out here. And Mr. Miller and Kyle have done this all over the state. They've done an excellent job, and every one of them has been successful, to my knowledge. And they kind of have it down an amount. The amount for the new hospital will be right around $9 million. And that will be a cost to the citizens of El Reno. Now, the good news is we've been great stewards of our money. We've done a great job. One thing that we have not done with Mercy money that we've took on the subsidy side, we've not spent one money for potholes, for police cars, or fire trucks, or anything else. We've kept that money and been great stewards of that for health care for the citizens of El Reno. In doing that, we have money saved up. And me being city manager, I think kind of helps a little bit. Marcia and I worked the process with Matt. And financially, I think I have a plan together that we can basically cash flow. I can pretty well cash flow $4.5 million of the new facility. Now, if I can pay for half the facility out of the cash I have on hand, and I'll have to walk you through that step, and I have to have some time to do that, then we'll be on the hook for the other, basically, $4.5 million. Other communities, El Reno has never had, we have 3 line items on our utility bill: water, sewer, and trash. And we have always never charged for ambulance services. Every community around us charges for ambulance services, healthcare services, different things, road tax, drainage tax. We never have done any of that. If we want a facility, that might be an option we have to look at. And we can do that ourselves by setting that rate. But I would like to take this time and sign a letter to talk to the citizens to get some feedback to make sure that's correct. But in doing this, that's probably the only option I'm telling you right now that we basically have to do that. The good thing about it is they're not throwing their money at just a service. They will absolutely own a building. And in 10 years, 8 to 10 years, that building could be paid for. And when it is paid for, then we renegotiate at that point in time. Either they pay or we get someone else to get Mercy back out here to do something different. And I say that, but we control our destiny. At that point in time, we have a 10-year-old hospital versus a 55-year-old hospital that is not in the location that's prime at this point in time. We've worked our tail off on this. We want to keep it minimal for the citizens. The partnership with St. Anthony's would be a basically gold standard that they have created. We have local ties. I think it's a good deal, the best deal that I think we've gotten on paper that's been presented to us. I don't know what else we can do, but I think we've done a hell of a job trying to get this thing together to do this. I'm a little disappointed in Mercy, but on the other hand, I understand completely where they're coming from. In the same sense of that, I think St. Anthony's absolutely wants to engage the employees that they have to keep the current services running out there. I met with Mercy this afternoon. At this point in time, I do not think Mercy wants to do any malice. I think Mercy absolutely, based on their mission statement, along with the group that I'm proposing, is the same mission statement. They care about people. They're a Christian organization, and they want to do the right thing. They don't want to hurt anybody, and I think they want to make this as a clean deal as we can for not only their employees, but the patients and the doctors in the community. So if we can keep this process up, I think we're on the right track. Hopefully we can work through this process. I think we can. I think we're gonna have some bumps in the road, but I think we can deal with them as we go. That's all I have to report. Is that enough?
It's good enough for me.
Any questions?
Was the question asked about for 2019, if St. Anthony's is an in-network provider partner with Blue Cross?
They are.
In-network, okay.
Any other questions? I need a motion.
I make a motion, we take St. Anthony's and accept that, and you move forward.
I have a motion for the mayor and chairman to start negotiations with SSM along with city staff and go forward and bring back a proposal that you all will finalize and a plan of action of how we're gonna pay for this.
And a letter of intent.
Sign letter of intent, I meant to say. Thank you, Roger. Lindsay caught you. Have me sign the letter of intent. I got a motion by Ballhorn. Do I have a second? Second by Robinson. Roll call start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson.
Yes.
Councilman Ballhorn.
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronister.
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes, motion for adjournment. Just wait a second, take 2 more seconds. All right, move on to City of El Reno Hospital Authority special meeting Thursday, January 17th. It's 5:56. Roll call, start with Vice Trustee Cronister.
Here.
Trustee Ballhorn. Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Here.
Chairman White.
Yes. Go on, discussion items. Number 1, review, discussion, consideration, possible action, proposal received for ambulance services, City of El Reno, and authorize chairman and mayor to sign letter of intent.
Make a motion, we approve per council discussion.
I have a motion for authority. I got a second by Ryder. Roll call start with Cronister.
Yes.
Beach, you get the next one.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yep.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes, move on to number 2. Review, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding proposal received for healthcare services, City of El Reno, and authorize chairman, mayor to sign letter of intent.
Motion approved per council discussion. Second.
I have a motion by Cronister, second by Ballhorn. Roll call start with Cronister.
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder. Chairman White.
Yes. Motion for adjournment. I got a motion by Cronister, second by Ballhorn. All in favor say aye. We're adjourned.